Hello, dear everybody. I'm very glad to see you again. And today I'm in very controversial mood because on the one hand, it's Thursday and I'm very happy to see you. But on the other hand, I'm a bit sad because today is our last lesson. But we're kicking off our lesson, so cheer up, get ready, because we're going to talk about English phrasal verbs. We're going to talk about acronyms. We're going to talk about Christmas cards and many, many other things. So using English for business can be very easy. You can make use of the whole English vocabulary to talk in business profile. But things get a bit more complicated when you put verbs together with some other words. And if you add a preposition to a verb, you result in absolutely different meaning. So, for example, if you put the word look together with a preposition of for example, for, you will result in the meaning of searching and seeking for something. If you put together the words of look and out, you will result in the phrasal verb of look out. You will result in an absolutely new meaning, which means to be careful. That is to be like careful. So together with a preposition of, for example, after, you result in absolutely a different meaning, which runs like taking care. But in fact, the word look means to concentrate your eyesight on a specific verb, so on a specific thing. So I mean to say that when you add a verb and to a preposition, you have absolutely a different meaning. And in business English, phrasal verbs are very, very widely used. And they have a specific advantage over ordinary verbs. Why? Because they sometimes come up with very specific meanings, and they can help you. They can help you express your ideas in a more concise and exact way. So let's look into some business English phrasal verbs. So if you're applying for a job, okay, if you're applying for a job, you most probably have to hand in a resume or an application, a CV, okay, to the person who is in charge of such things. So hand in, generally hand is this one, okay, but when you hand in, okay, when you hand in something, it means you give something to the addressee or you submit something to someone. For example, you might hear such statements like, you have to hand in your copy on Monday, or do your share of the work and then hand in to the marketing department, or I'm supposed to hand this in to our CEO by the end of the next week. So you can hand in a report, you can hand in a letter, a resume, an application, etc. And if you are the HR manager, you are the one who people hand in the paper. And your job in this case is to look into them, okay? Looking into, you see the man is looking into a big pile of papers. So to look into, okay, to look into means to research, to investigate, to study something, okay? And statements like with looking into, you can say, for example, my job at our company is to look into different markets and to do some benchmarking. Or please look into all the details of the case and come up with a thorough report. Or we're now looking into new software to use in our training. So you can look into a problem, you can look into a circumstance, into a matter, or into a complaint, okay? You quite successfully get your job, you're hired, and you're already at the office. And office work involves a lot of technology. And technology sometimes comes up with certain problems. And for you not to face any kind of problems, one of the most important things is to back up. Okay, so when you create important papers, when you create important files or documents, you'd better back up your files and your information. So backup means creating a copy. Generally, make sure to back up all your files because you can never know what may happen. Okay, so you may hear statements like, for example, our technical advisor says that I should back up my files every day to preserve all the necessary data. Or, for example, we have problems with electricity, so to be on the safe side, back up the survey results, not to lose them later. Okay, you back up papers, you back up files, and so on and so forth. And when you are in the full swing of your work, you sometimes come up with many appointments. But sometimes the appointments are not final, and still you've got to talk about them. You've got to clarify specific details. And if you're unsure of the data or of the date, or if there's a great probability that something might change, for example, the day, or for example, the venue, so you pencil in your arrangement, okay, your appointment. So pencil in actually means to schedule or to register something, and quite often this is like a more polite way of saying, for example, schedule me, or for example, put me down for let's say December 28th or something of the kind. So the previous ones, I mean, schedule me and put me down for, they are more imperative like. But in case of penciling in, this leaves a space for revision. So when you make an appointment, better use pencil in. You can hear statements like, could you please pencil me in on Monday 2 p.m. Or I can pencil in your name, and if you decide to opt out, we'll do it. And sometimes it happens that, for example, your appointments are delayed to some later date. That is, your appointments are put off. Okay, so put off means to postpone. Okay, that is to schedule the meeting or the arrangement for a later date. Okay, for example, you can say they have put off the conference call for some undisclosed reasons, or for example, a very famous English proverb which runs like, never put off till tomorrow what you can do today, and it means that you've got to do your job right now and you shouldn't delay it for some later day. Okay, you can put off a meeting, you can put off, for example, a conference call, you can put off a strike or something of the kind. Okay, and sometimes it happens that for example, the meeting is not just put off, but it is cancelled totally. That is, it is called off. Okay, call off means to cancel. It means that the meeting is not going to take place. So you can, for example, hear an expression like, today's meeting has been called off, or I'm going to call off today's session due to the absence of some key speakers, etc. You can call off a meeting, you can call off, for example, talks, you can call off a sports match, etc. And sometimes the company you work for undergoes certain recession or a financial slump and is forced to cut back on, for example, the staff. So as a result, many people are laid off. Okay, lay off means that the working place is no longer effective and it is closed down. In Armenian, lay off is translated like kırçatel, and to be laid off, it's like kırçatvel. Okay, so lay off, that's actually the same as to be made redundant. Okay, you can say, for example, we had to lay off 13 executives and about 250 low-level employees, or when deciding whether to lay off a worker, a firm should take into account the social costs of doing so. You can lay off the staff, you can lay off employees, etc. I want to turn to acronyms as well, because they are also very important in business English communication. And sometimes when we are communicating in business profile, we don't have time to use long words or long sentences. Thus, what we do is we shorten the words to their initial letters, thus creating acronyms. Okay, so there are specific acronyms that are quite often used in business English communication, and one of the most widely spread ones, I will show you my card now. Okay, so it's this one. This is ASAP. But in communication, it is mostly produced like a SAP, and it stands for as soon as possible. Okay, so you can say, for example, send me the report ASAP. Okay, the other one that I want to draw your attention to is let me see, oops, I cannot find my card, but it's FYI, which runs like for your information. Okay, for your information, this is the update I got from the team. Another one is this one. Okay, it runs like BTW, but it means by the way. Okay, our meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, by the way. This is mostly used in written communication. Okay. Another one that is also very widely used is this one, ATTN, which runs like attention. Okay. Okay. The next one I want to show you is this one, which runs like not applicable. This is used quite often when, for example, you don't have an answer, when the answer is absolutely omitted. So you come up with this one, and not applicable. Okay. We have another one that we talked last time about. It's this one. Okay, RSVP, which is, as I said before, which is borrowing from French and runs like répondez s'il vous plaît. In English, literally, it means respond, please. Okay, this is used when you want to come up, when you want the addressee to come up with a feedback. So you can say, for example, please RSVP to John by April 4th. Okay, and you can see something like this, CEO, and something like this, CFO. This one comes like CEO, comes like Chief Executive Officer, and this one comes like Chief Financial Officer. Okay. The next one is this one. This is a very widely spread one, and we use this very one in Armenian as well. That is, Armenia has borrowed this very acronym as well. This is PR, standing for Public Relations. And this one, that is HR, Human Resources. Okay. And we've got this one, which is also used in Business English Profile. That is LLC, Limited Liability Company. Okay. And this one, VAT, Value Added Tax. And in business, there is nothing more important than building strong relationship with your clients. And there is no better season to express your gratitude and warm wishes to your partners other than holidays. And for many people, Christmas is the most awaited holiday. So people reconsider their lives, they make wishes and hopes, and they do hope that whatever they wish will come true in the coming year. And it is time for the people to make gifts, to make others happy, and to come up with a lot of Christmas cards. Okay, so Christmas cards make an integral part of business culture. And today I want to come up with a couple of ideas that you can use when writing Christmas card. So to sound professional, you can say, wishing you a wonderful holiday season for 2018, or you can say, for example, wishing you a season of joy and looking forward to continued success in 2018. Or you can say, for example, we appreciate your business and wish you the best in the coming year, or we're so glad to have you as our partners, as our clients, or anything of the kind. You decide which one you choose. And looking forward to serving you in the future. Now, we've got a couple of questions that I want to read them out. Okay. Julieta Harutsunyan says, English seems such a fun through these lessons. Oh, thank you very much. And thank you very much, first of all, Julieta. And then making use of this very chance, I want to express our gratitude to all our viewers, to the people who remained with us during this period of time. And I can assure you that there are very, very many more interesting things to come. And all you need is to click the button of like on the U.S. Embassy Yerevan Facebook page and follow the forthcoming news and learn English, because English opens and reveals unbelievable horizons in all the spheres of your lives. And the question runs like, are there any materials you would advise us for self-studying? Well, it depends what sphere you want to get concentrated on, but there are unbelievable amount of resources. You can go online on the site of, if I'm not making a mistake, it's like www.americanenglish.com. So you can get a lot of materials on that very site. And in any case, American Embassy comes up with a lot of information and with very, very many events devoted to learning English. So one of our, main viewers, Karen Parikyan, is saying, Dear Ms. Termendjan, what if I can speak English freely, but I have problems with different dialects? What should I do? My advice to you is that you should first of all have, for example, like CNN switched on all the time, because there are many speakers and many people talking, and you can come across very, very many dialects on CNN. So go online or keep your TV switched on, and your listening skills based on different dialects will definitely advance. Okay. And one more thing, Julieta goes on saying, I have taken academic IELTS exam lately, and I'm constantly self-studying through various materials. I also read a lot in English. I always choose watching movies in English if possible, but what I lack is business English. Well, I do hope that our classes were of specific use to you. In any case, if there are things that, for example, you missed, you can go again online and return to all the previous lessons that we had, because we were online for 2 months, and we had classes every Thursday. That is approximately, it goes like totally 8 classes. So if our lessons may be of any use to you, you can always go online and watch them. They will stay on the Facebook page, so anytime you want, you can rewind and watch them. Now, with your kind permission, I would like to invite Cultural Affairs Officer, very beautiful woman, Dianà Sիթը.
Okay. How are you?
Very well, and how are you?
Happy to see you.
Yes, I'm happy to see you too.
You are too kind as always.
No, it's all about you. Thank you.
Please. Oh, please. You're giving a really great lesson.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes when you take courses, by the last day, the teachers and students are so tired and so ready for vacation, so ready for the holidays. But you've got even richer content, which is So.
And what made me really happy is that I got many, even private messages on Facebook saying that it would be fine if this were like a continued process, or they were saying that they were sad that the lessons are over. But I mean, everything should at certain point stop, right?
Yes, I suppose so. So we did just post in the comments actually 2 good resources for people who do want to continue self-study. One is americanenglish.state.gov. You were right about the link, and there's lots of materials there if you're a teacher, if you're a student, and there's different levels, which is important because you don't always know what level you are.
Exactly.
And you might be very strong in speaking but not as strong in reading, and so there's assorted topics too, because you don't want to learn something boring in English.
Yes.
Another really good option is Coursera. So we provided the link as well for that. There's a search bar when you get onto the site, and you can just enter English or Business English, and it will show you all of the classes that are available. The classes are always free. If you want, it's called auditing the course if you want to do it for free. But if you want to earn a certificate in it, then I think there's a small fee. There's a fee, I think it's $49 for a certificate for some of the courses. But again, there's variation. But that's a really good place to go and get some good content, some people with pedagogical backgrounds who are going through the material and teaching. So, and some of the classes you do it together with other students, and some of them you do on your own time and at your own pace. Speaking of idioms,
I have taken a course on Coursera, and that was really good. And I can assure you that everything on that very site is really good. I mean, you learn many things, and there are like specific levels and specific branches. Mine was called Shaping the Way We Teach English.
Yes, that's a great one.
Yes, that was really very nice. That was the second round. It was a very good one. But I know that there are like specific courses for economic students or for legal students, etc.
Yeah, that it's such a specific vocabulary.
Yes, and a very good one.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific comments to make over Christmas?
I guess the question would be, do you have any questions for me that you would like me to cover? We don't have a lot of idioms that relate specifically to Christmas that I could think of that would be interesting. But there's a lot of similarities between how we celebrate and how you celebrate.
Exactly.
You get together with your entire family. It's on a different day. It's December 25th instead of in January. But you get together with your whole family. You eat until you're silly.
Yes.
You have a table that's groaning under the weight of all different kinds of food, including, 3 kinds of pies and a huge turkey or a ham or something like that.
Yes, pork loin.
Maybe not pork loin. An actual full ham.
Okay.
Or the ham.
Yeah.
We don't have the specific part. I think the part of the pig might be different.
Yes. And the most important thing, that's the message of Christmas, to be kind and to reconsider all the bad things that probably, I mean, you this way or another sometimes do, and to clear everything and start the year from zero.
That's very philosophical. It's very philosophical. So we also have trees. It's a Christmas tree, not a New Year's tree. We have a lot of people will go to a religious commemoration of some sort, usually church, if they're Catholic. But I think there's something where lots of the major religions have something that's special around this time. I think in the darkest of times is when you most need a celebration of light and a celebration of closeness and warmth. And that's what makes holidays like Christmas so special.
Yes.
We have been getting lots of Christmas cards, and they're so beautiful. They're really creative designers here who've made these really elegant cards, and they're thoughtful and they're lovely, and they show a lot of what makes the holiday special to Armenians. A lot of them show closeness or family or some really cute graphic that has to do with life and partying, and it's great.
Yeah, generally Armenians are very specific about handmade things. So I'm sure that many of the cards that you got probably are even handmade.
They're handwritten.
Oh, handwritten, okay.
Yes. I think that's also really special. So, and that's something that might be interesting for those of your students who are interested in business in particular. It's a business formality to send a card, but it doesn't have to be rigidly formal. It can be a little bit more of a personal connection. It can be a little bit more of a warm human touch, because it's a business relationship, but at the same time there's a human connection. And so having a little handwritten note, it communicates a great deal of warmth and
love.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got one more question. So Karen is saying it again. Which English will allow me to communicate and do my official stuff without problems, British or American? That's English. Okay? That's generally English, because I wouldn't put a distinction line. Because there is this phenomenon of English, even universal English, because English is so big, it's so wide, and I wouldn't, for example, as to me, I wouldn't say like specifically, for example, British English or anything, but I mean, English is really universal.
Yes, and also most of your business partners will know whether you've got one background or another, and so it's fine if I, as an American, read that you spelled the word color COLOUR.
Exactly.
I'll know what you mean. I'll know that you studied British English, but I'll get it. It's either one is fine. So I would worry less about that and worry more about the structure and the grammar.
Exactly. Because this way or another, we have that in Armenian as well. We have many dialects, and we've got Western Armenian, we've got Eastern Armenian. But the most important thing is that we deliver the message, and the message is delivered in both cases. So whether that's British, whether that's American, whether that's Australian, English is English.
Yes, and one difference actually that I think is important. So the Armenian ear in general, I find, as a non-Armenian, has a more narrow range of pronunciation for how a word should sound. And if you are a little bit off, Armenians will have a harder time understanding you if it's not exactly perfect. Whereas I think Americans and British people also, they have a wider ear for what a word should sound like. So if you say it a little bit different, it's okay. They'll still get the sense of it, because there are so many different variations of how that word sounds when different people speak it. So I know it's very stressful when you're a learner and you want to do everything correctly and perfectly. And there's a lot to the language that you do have to know very well structurally, but it's also okay to be a little bit more relaxed about some of the details. We'll get the point.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
Yes, exactly. And if we kind of wrap up the lessons and this round of the lessons, probably we'll say the most important thing. God bless Armenia. God bless the United States of America, right?
It's a very important part. It's true. It's also philosophical. If it's okay, I'd like to add a word of advice, which is that it can be really frustrating to learn and study. And then, especially when you're older, your brain will forget a word and you'll have to remember it again, and you'll make a mistake several times over, but just be patient with yourself.
Yes, exactly.
And keep practicing, even if it's a little bit a day, even if it's imperfect. And little steps in language learning, especially for adults, goes a very long way. It's different than learning when you're 11.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's of importance to students. So.
Yes. Well, I think we can wrap up the lesson. All right.
In that case, I'll say, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. All my best wishes for you, for
And
the
for
students, for 2018. Prosperous, peaceful, beautiful year.
Yes, with no disasters, with no human losses, just peace, love, and reconciliation.
And lots of good food.
Yes. Yeah.
Whichever part of the food you eat.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you once again for staying with us, for following us, and for being so devoted and true to us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New-
Happy